All right, welcome back to the channel. Man, we're going to talk about the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury weigh-in. Both of these dudes come in looking massive. One looks massive because he looks like he put on another muscle, a lot of muscle. The other one looked massive because he looked like he ate a lot of donuts. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. This fight is obviously going to be between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Is obviously going to be about these guys trying to muscle each other. I think you could tell from the weigh-in exactly what they're going to try to do in the fight. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury are going to be fighting this Saturday, and it's going to be the last fight or the third fight in their trilogy. Tyson Fury is a big favorite to win the fight. Deontay Wilder is the underdog, and Tyson Fury has been talking a lot about how he's going to roll over Deontay Wilder, beat him up, do all this type of stuff. And then surprise, surprise, dude, Deontay Wilder comes in the weigh-in at his career heaviest. The dude looked absolutely swole, absolutely massive, and I was like, man, how much does this dude weigh? 6'7", 237 pounds. And I think that is, according to what they said, the career high for Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury weighs in at his career high, which was 6'9", 277 pounds. But the difference in their physiques, I think, was just one of the biggest things that I noticed. Deontay Wilder still looked cut. He still looked very muscular at 100, at 200, roughly 240 pounds. Where Tyson Fury refused to take his shirt off, and when he flexed his muscle, there was absolutely no definition whatsoever in his muscles. So obviously what I think is going to happen here, and this is something, Deontay Wilder answered when people asked him about why he came in so heavy. Deontay Wilder's like, look, man, I came in, I was working out, lifting heavy, getting my strength up so that I could push this dude up off of me. I don't know how much this guy's going to weigh, but I got my bench press up to 350 pounds. So whatever this dude's going to weigh, I'm trying to get us into a situation where I can push him off of him. Tyson Fury obviously was banking on the fact that, his increased weight, and the bigger that he came in, the better it was going to be for him. Well, at least that's what they say, right? Because he was, when he was interviewed, he was talking about how he's going to roll over Deontay Wilder and how he was going to, just bragging about how big he was, right? And how he's going to have this big 270-pound monster running at him. It's going to be interesting, man, because I could see pros and cons for both sides based on how they looked in the weigh-in. For Deontay Wilder, obviously the pro is, that he'll be strong enough and he's got enough muscle mass to push him off of him. To get Tyson Fury to get up off of him and to and to basically be able to, on the inside, wrestle him around. Last fight, I think he came in somewhere in the 200, low 220 pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I think if I recall correctly, he was somewhere in the low 220s. There's been times when Deontay Wilder, for a Luis Ortiz fought, weighed into somewhere like 219 pounds. So from the lowest that Deontay Wilder has weighed till now, that's like 20 pounds, and it's 20 pounds of muscle. That didn't look like a lot of water weight. That didn't look like a lot of fat. That looked like he put on about 20 pounds of muscle. So the question is, will that slow down Deontay Wilder's? Will it slow him down, right? And as far as his punch delivery, right? Will it tight? Is he going to be tight? Will his muscles be tight? Will he get tired quicker? All of that type of stuff. When you gain weight, there's positives and there's negatives to it. But in this case, where he had somebody that he's trying to fight that is basically trying to come in there and just mug him. I did a video earlier about this. I don't see anything out of Tyson Fury in this upcoming fight other than Tyson Fury. Well, Tyson Fury is a good boxer. Don't get me wrong. So, he's going to try to score. He's going to try to score from the outside when he can. But his main thing is when he gets on the inside with Deontay Wilder, he's going to try to grab him. He's going to try to muscle him. He's going to try to drain him and suck all his energy out of his body. So then in the later rounds that Deontay Wilder will be tired and he won't have any of his punching power left. But I've said this before. So Tyson Fury coming in at this weight could be a positive for Tyson Fury, right? If that's what his game plan is. However, if that's just fat, if this guy puts on a lot of muscle and increases his strength, and this guy's putting on a lot of fat, and if the situation can turn around for Tyson Fury, well, Tyson Fury gets tired more easily than he did before. Because Tyson Fury's game at his best when he's fighting, he's a counter puncher. He moves real well. He's elusive and all that stuff. But when you pour on a whole bunch of extra weight, man, your elusiveness absolutely positively can go away, man. So, I think there could be pros and cons. Basically, it's the same pros and cons for both of these guys. When they go into fight, Deontay Wilder could have slowed himself down, and maybe, taking a little bit off of his knockout power where he's basically using his flexibility and his speed to generate the power, right? But, for him, he also needs to be aware that he's fighting a guy that is getting close to 300 pounds and is going to try to really drain him of his power, basically by wrestling him, grabbing him and pushing him around. So the extra muscle and all that stuff may very well help him. Tyson Fury, again, he's a fast fighter, and as big as he is weighing in at that weight, man, he very well may get gassed towards the end of the fight and have Deontay Wilder lay something on him that he can't handle. But at the end of the day, man, I think this is going to be a very, very good fight. I am a true believer that that the biggest thing in this fight is going to be whether or not Tyson Fury is allowed to cheat in that ring, and whether or not he brings something into that ring that he shouldn't be bringing into that ring. There's a lot of people that say that that's ridiculousness, and that it's just excuse making for Deontay Wilder. I'm not on Deontay Wilder's team, so I'm not making any excuses for him. All I'm doing is looking at exactly what I've seen in the tapes of the first fight, and the tapes of the second fight. I think that Tyson Fury did a significant amount I think that he did some things outside the ring that would contribute to his unfair advantages. Inside the ring, he's a very, very good fighter. And when you combine the two, the dude had a very, very big advantage. In this particular fight, I'll tell you that I'm not making a prediction on the fight, because honestly, man, I don't know what to make of it. If I really believed in the last fight that Tyson Fury had fought fairly and that he didn't do anything which was illegal to mess with Deontay Wilder, and that he won that fight fair and square, I would say that I would pick Tyson Fury in this fight. But having looked at that tape and having really paid attention to it to the best of my ability, I don't believe that Tyson Fury came into that fight that way. I'm looking at the tapes of Deontay Wilder from the first round on. From the very first round, he was wobbling. He was wobbling around and losing his balance before Tyson Fury ever landed a punch on him. He did not look like the Deontay Wilder that we saw fight in the fight before with Dominic Breazeale. He didn't look like the Deontay Wilder that was fighting Luis Ortiz. He looked like somebody that was already basically walked in the ring like he had already fought. He'd already got tagged in his dressing room. That's what his body language looked like. It looked like he had already been beaten up before he got in the boxing ring. So I'm just, I pride myself on not being stupid. Okay. Boxing is a very, very corrupt sport. And my personal belief is that Tyson Fury cheated in that, in several ways in that fight, to get an advantage over a guy that almost knocked him out in the 12th round. And he wasn't trying to take a chance for that in the next fight. But in this weigh-in, you see that Tyson Fury really went with it even more and put on even more weight. And Deontay Wilder, got his body weight up so that he could try to hold off what he believes is going to be a mauling attempt by Tyson Fury. But all in all, man, I'm looking forward to this fight. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.